I'm Katie and we're the Wallace family. We brought our kids to Rome for 4 days to explore, learn more about Italian culture, and early church history.
Jeez, aw, so sweet.
Please subscribe to our channel and follow along on our family adventures with kids. Visiting Rome was our first destination on our extended 2025 family adventure in Europe. To conclude our time in the Eternal City, we set off to explore one of Rome's most iconic landmarks, the Colosseum. To recap, we have 4 kids, we homeschool, and we travel often to explore new places and cultures. Watch our previous video to see what we discovered during our first few days in Rome. The day before, we visited the Catacombs of Saint Sebastian and stopped for a family photo along Appian Way.
We just came from the Catacombs of Saint Sebastian, and it was a really interesting experience. However, they didn't let us film or take any pictures, unfortunately. But being down there in the catacombs of the ancient Christians from the early church was a really unique experience. There were symbols on the walls that represented different things from the faith, and we really enjoyed our time there.
The Catacombs of Saint Sebastian were created in the 3rd century and stretch for miles beneath the city. Early Christians used these tunnels for burial and as places to gather in secret during times of persecution. The catacombs were named after Saint Sebastian, a Christian martyr who was buried there. Walking through the narrow passageways, you can still see ancient frescoes, inscriptions, and small chambers where believers laid their loved ones to rest. It was a bummer that we couldn't take photos and videos in the catacombs, although I got one photo near the entrance. Evidently, this is a general rule in Rome because the catacombs are considered sacred areas. We've learned so much traveling with our kids. Our days in Rome were busy and full, and Juliet often napped while we were out exploring, which was such a blessing. As we travel with our kids, we teach them a little about the history and culture of each place we visit. When in Rome, we watch several YouTube videos about the Pantheon, the Trevi Fountain, the Spanish Steps, and the Colosseum. This extra knowledge helped each of us better appreciate the amazing landmarks we had the privilege of seeing. This Roman landmark was very impressive to see in person. The Colosseum was built in the 1st century AD, completed in 80 AD, and could hold more than 60,000 spectators. It was used for nearly 400 years to host gladiator battles, animal hunts, and public events. We're exploring the Colosseum with our kids today. It's really amazing to be here in person. I'm excited to see what we're going to learn. Originally called the Flavian Amphitheater, it became known as the Colosseum because of the giant Colossus statue that once stood beside it.
This is so cool. We're like the only ones up here. Did we go up?
Don't run, please, but you guys can walk ahead. We purchased timed tickets that gave us access to the top level of the Colosseum. Since only 10 visitors are allowed up at once, we got to explore the ancient stone corridors and view the Colosseum from the top level, almost completely on our own. This is so amazing up here. Everyone walk up the stairs nicely. Nearby, the Arch of Constantine stands as a reminder of the emperor's great victory and the lasting strength of ancient Rome. Built in 315 AD, it commemorates Constantine's triumph, the Battle of Milvian Bridge. Inside the Colosseum, you can still see the remnants of stadium-style seating, which once held tens of thousands of cheering spectators. The arena floor is gone today, revealing the underground tunnels and chambers where gladiators and animals were kept before the shows. The Colosseum hosted a wide variety of shows that entertained the Roman people for centuries. The most famous were the gladiator battles, where trained fighters who were sometimes slaves or prisoners fought each other or wild animals for the crowd's amusement. There were also animal hunts, featuring exotic creatures like lions, elephants, and leopards brought in from across the empire. At times, the arena was even flooded for mock naval battles, where ships would stage dramatic sea fights. These spectacles made the Colosseum the center of Roman entertainment and a powerful display of the empire's wealth and power.
Walls would be cages for all the animals. It's a prop. It's like a fake tree. See that? It's just part of like staging the combat to look more interesting because it's a theater of sorts, right? They're staging it for people to enjoy the show of people dying and getting hurt, but it's still a show. And so they would put fake tree decorations and all this stuff. It was quite an event. It's like a depiction of...
Hey, read this one. Read this one.
A few people asked me if the Colosseum was bigger or smaller than I expected, but I think for the time frame, it's pretty much what I imagined. It's really an amazing example of Roman architecture. While it's somewhat disputed, it's likely that Christians were persecuted at the Colosseum for refusing to worship Roman gods. Over the centuries, reverence for these possible martyrs inspired the Church of Rome to dedicate time and resources to preserving the Colosseum, and a cross was even placed there to honor their memory. If Christians were martyred at the Colosseum, whether slaves or prisoners, it's surreal to think of them walking out onto the arena floor. Although they knew it was their final day, many would have met it with courage because of their faith in Jesus. It's just really amazing to be here in person and to see this glimpse of past church history. This same hope can be summarized by the gospel, which is God's good news. God created us to be with Him, but our sin separates us from God. Romans 3:23 says, "For all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God." Sin cannot be removed by good works. Ephesians 2:8-9 says, "For by grace you have been saved through faith. It is not from yourselves, it is a gift of God, not of works, so that no one can boast." Paying the price for sin, Jesus came to earth, died on the cross, conquered death, and rose again. John 3:16 says, "For God so loved the world that He gave His one and only Son, that whoever believes in Him will not perish but have eternal life." Everyone who trusts in Jesus will be saved, receive new life, and live in God's future kingdom forever. This truth has encouraged Christians throughout the ages to endure all kinds of persecutions in Rome and elsewhere.
When traveling to Rome with kids, we chose a rental in the historic center so that we could walk to many of the landmarks.
Is this so exciting?
When we did have to take a bus, it was easy. We simply had to tap to pay with a different card for each member of the family over the age of 10. Also, it was helpful to book our tickets online for the Colosseum and the Pantheon.
After learning how to use the bus system, we easily got around with our kids and baby. We especially enjoyed seeing the impressive interior of the Pantheon. Watch our previous video to see more details about our adventures in Rome. Next, we headed to Pompeii to see the ancient city destroyed by the 79 AD eruption of Mount Vesuvius. After, we headed to the picturesque medieval village of Pitigliano. We discovered rich Renaissance history in Florence, including the works of Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo. We enjoyed amazing Mediterranean views along the Cinque Terre and explored more art and history in Verona. Finally, we ended our travels in Italy with a visit to Venice. Watch our next videos to see more of our family adventures in Europe. For more creative family ideas, visit createplaytravel.com. Thanks for watching!